At least once a week, you may end up with random ingredients in the fridge that you would like to put to use. They just don't seem to obviously combine into a dinner idea, right? Well, when we ask Studio 5 cooks what they do to use up what's on hand, we hear one common response, and it's this: just Google your dinner. Google your dinner, and that calls for a real-time cooking challenge. Our food experts will take what's on hand and with Google's help, turn it into dinner in 1 hour or less. We're pulling in 5 cooks over the course of this week. First up, our friend Kristin Andrus, and you are a key inspiration for this series, so set it up for us. What does it mean to Google your dinner? Okay, so I was doing a segment once, and you said, like, how did you even come up with this? Because it just didn't come naturally. I asked that question a lot. Right. But some people just doesn't come naturally to. And so I said, actually, I Googled these certain ingredients that I had at home. I didn't know what I was going to do for dinner, and it led me to such a great idea that I never would have come up on my own. So I have this ingredient, this and this. You literally put it into the Google search bar. Okay. And I normally will do images rather than reading recipes, because in the images you start seeing pretty, dishes, and you're like, oh, Italian, or oh, I could go Mexican with this. So then it kind of leads you down a path into what you could, some of these maybe random ingredients, make into something delicious and good. So you can choose. You could aim for a real recipe in front of your eyes spelled out, or like you say, pull up pictures that then lead you down a path of inspiration. Yes, exactly. I think pictures, because then you're like, oh, I do have those things, and then you could lead to the recipe, or it'll just kind of spark you in where you want to go, rather than a literally like ingredient by ingredient. Are you ready to help us kick this off and test this out? So to test it, we're going to mimic the real life cooking experience, and for that, Studio 5 viewer Tony Brunson is joining us via Skype. A little bit about Tony: she lives in Magna, she works full time, she has one high school daughter and other family that drops in here and there around dinner time. Her husband is retired. We've got Tony in front of her fridge. Kristin is listening in as well. Hi Tony, it's so great to see you. Tell us what's in your fridge, lady. We want to see.
I have butternut, hamburger, great, and in the fridge.
Okay, a little bit of a connection issue, but I think I was able to read lips and decipher. So ground beef, Gruyere cheese, zucchini, and what was the last one, Tony?
Grated cheese.
Grated cheese. Okay.
And some butternut squash, grated
Squash noodles.
Go from the garden. Okay, Tony, we're going to get to work here for you in the kitchen. Check back with us later, okay?
Okay.
All right, so Kristin, you're going to plug this in. Okay. Jeff's got your phone handing in from the sidelines. So we plug in those ingredients, literally just typing out the words.
Right, so ground chicken, or, okay, so ground chicken, sweet potato, skillet. So when I put in ground chicken, sweet potato, then skillet pulled up. Then I went to images. Okay, these are gorgeous.
They're beautiful.
Yes, please. I will make that for dinner, right? And looking at your guys' pantry, I definitely have the beans. One of my rescue ingredients was the avocado.
Now let's set this up. We have allowed you to bring in what we call rescue ingredients. So first, behind us, Harmon's has stocked our shelf with everything you would normally have on hand in the kitchen, just basic common ingredients. Then Kristin brings her rescue ingredients to the challenge. You brought avocados, and what else?
Yes, so avocados, healthy fat, it fills you up. I love avocados. I put avocado on everything.
Okay.
Egg as well. I use egg all the time. Once again, protein, healthy. It's a meal in itself. Pretty much this is actually a meal in itself. Add anything to it and it's awesome. And then I did some Harmon's, some of their salsa, which I love, kind of pico. And I love that rescue ingredient because it adds so much flavor and spice. It's already done for you and it's healthy.
So these are things you're constantly stocking in your own kitchen.
Absolutely. Like salsa on a lot of things. I put eggs on a lot of things, and I add avocado to kind of bulk things up, make it healthy and filling for dinner.
All right, so let's review. We've got a home cook's basics behind us. We've got Kristin's 3 rescue ingredients, and whatever was hanging out in Tony's fridge, and you're gonna make dinner for us.
Yes, and so I Googled it. I think that image that I just saw, that we all saw,
that skillet
was
dish.
really pretty. It was like a skillet, had the meat and the sweet potatoes, and it looked like I could maybe add some eggs and avocado and salsa to it.
Okay, you ready to get to work?
Yes, I'm excited.
Go ahead, girlfriend. We're gonna be tracking Kristin throughout the hour as she puts together this Googled dinner. And again, a big thanks to Harmon's for stocking our kitchen. This is welcome back into Studio 5. So random ingredients, no planning, limited time. We are recreating dinner time realities this week in the Studio 5 kitchen, and yet Kristin Andrus is pulling something delicious together in our kitchen. So we'll check in with her. Kristin, what's your strategy here? Where did you land on the menu?
Okay, I am really excited about this. When I Googled it, like we talked about, it actually pulled up the word skillet for me, and then the images showed all of these one-pot meals, which what does any mom or cook or anyone want is a one-pot dinner. So I'm starting with some of the ground beef in here, and I'm gonna drain this, and I just got a tip from someone that works here that you actually can wash the ground beef to get some of the fat off.
Oh.
I'm thinking about taking all of these yummy veggies. I shredded the zucchini, and we have the butternut squash, and I think I'm gonna put it in, make a skillet. I'm gonna try to make this as healthy as I can.
Okay.
Because that's what it's all about, right?
Okay, we're excited. We'll let you keep working, Kristin. Thank you. Of course, we're watching closely, but so is Studio 5 viewer Tony. We Skyped with her earlier in the show, and we need to remind you those ingredients were directly pulled from her fridge. So this is dinner time at its best, in its most real form. We'll check in with Kristin throughout the hour as dinner time progresses here in the 11 o'clock hour anyway.
Okay, you guys, we are actually almost done with dinner. Don't tell anyone, because I think we're like 30 minutes in. Dinner's almost done. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what we did. I am using all of the ingredients that she talked about, which I'm so excited about. I have this skillet going, one-pot meal, which is the best. Tons of veggies in here, so healthy. I drained all of the fat from the whatever you want to use. This is ground beef. I'm going to add some black beans in here. I'm going to add a couple of other things. Now, the best thing that I love to do is have this done in the middle of the day so that by the time dinner comes, you're just doing the finishing touches on dinner.
Oh my gosh, Kristin, it's looking great. It's smelling great. We can't wait. The finished plate, we shall say, coming up in just a little bit. I am back in the kitchen with our favorite foodie friend, Kristin Andrus. She helped kick off this week-long series here on Studio 5, Google Your Dinner. We talked earlier in the hour with Studio 5 viewer Tony, and she literally opened up her fridge, showed you what she had, the offering she had.
I loved it.
We paired that up with our stocked shells from Harmon's. This is nothing fancy, guys, just the basics that most home cooks would have. Yeah. And then you brought your 3 rescue ingredients, which let's review. Those were...
So this is not it. This is sour cream that she had. But I had avocado, I had egg, which I ended up adding, and I brought some salsa, which is actually from Harmon's as well, or like pico de gallo.
And in Tony's fridge, we had what?
So we had ground meat. I used ground beef because that's what she had. Maybe I would have substituted ground chicken, but whatever you have is great. That could be in your freezer too. You can have that for a long time.
Okay.
She had shredded cheese, which we're just going to use a little bit of because I'm trying to keep this a little bit healthy.
Okay.
She had zucchini. I grated zucchini and I put it in our skillet.
Okay.
She had butternut squash noodles, or like shredded butternut squash, and so that was already shredded, which was awesome. I put that in our skillet as well. She had cucumbers, and I have to talk about this.
What?
She had cucumbers and hummus, and I was like, I can't fit that into my dinner, but I can sit and chomp on this so I don't eat 2 dinners. Because, right, sometimes you're eating, like you're making and you're eating, and then all of a sudden you end up being 2 dinners. This was a super healthy snack that I could have. My kids are eating, doing homework while I'm making dinner. I loved having this out, and I wouldn't have, but just having a little healthy snack while I'm making a very healthy dinner.
Now let's dish on the actual dish. I have to point out, you're kind of a show-off in the cutest way, because not only did you deliver on an awesome, colorful, healthy dinner, you did it in one pot, one pan.
I know, I did it in one pan, and I'm gonna end it with my rescue ingredient, my salsa, to add a little bit of red.
So we had the ground beef.
Okay, so we started with the ground beef, just a little bit of olive oil, didn't even really need that. I drained off all of the fat. Once again, you can use ground turkey, ground chicken, all of those are great ideas too. And then I just added the zucchini that was shredded. I added the shredded butternut squash, and I just sauteed that. Do that at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, nap time. Go pick up all the kids. Pretty much your dinner is done. Then, say 5:30, I open up the lid. I throw a couple of eggs on. I put the lid on. It cooks the eggs. I still like the yolks a little bit runny and yummy because it just makes it a little bit, feel a little bit more indulgent, even though it's not.
Right.
And then I added some avocado on top. Oh, I did add black beans.
Okay.
In there to add a little bit more fiber, a little bit more volume. And then the salsa on top, and then she had sour cream. I think you don't need it, but if you want to add a little dollop of sour cream.
This looks amazing. This is amazing.
And this looks like the picture on Google.
Totally.
Right? Did you see that? I Googled the ingredients. It came up with a skillet. I Ta-da!
A few ingredients, Google, and a brain like Kristin's, and you have this gorgeous dinner. Now, we want to point out, you're sharing recipes like this and inspiration like this all the time on your Instagram.
Yes, I'm trying to share healthy recipes. It's so hard to get dinner on the table, but it's not, right? So I try to make it easier on Instagram to show you guys little hacks and stuff like that.
Be sure to follow her on Instagram. We'll link you over from our website. And this Google Your Dinner series continues all week on Studio 5, so it should be a lot of fun.